Who are some tight ends that could prove to be hidden gems this coming season? We're about to tell you. So let's start with a guy in Arizona. No, not Zach Ertz. You already know about him. But what about the rookie Trey McBride? Does he have a path to not just relevance, but maybe even a big season ahead of him?
I think he does. We saw down the stretch, he started to get involved, started to kind of acclimate to the NFL game. Zach Ertz obviously was out, but also Zach Ertz will probably be out for a while. He's 32 years old, coming off a major knee injury. We could see Trey McBride get off to a great start. DeAndre Hopkins has probably played his last snap in Arizona. More than likely, they are going to trade him. So there's a lot really pointing to Trey McBride having a nice second season here. I could kind of see him having that Pat Freiermuth type of a second season. No, he's probably not going to be a guy who scores a ton of touchdowns, but I think he's a guy who will have a nice high floor in PPR leagues with decent touchdown upside. Trey McBride, your punting tight end, not a bad option.
All the Cardinals' losses going into next season could work in McBride's favor. So McBride going to get a lot of work and probably get the starts early at tight end. Hopkins is gone completely. Rondale Moore's always hurt. McBride is definitely somebody who they might need to lean on, but I'll say the biggest loss that might work in his and all their favor is Cliff Kingsbury. He was always outmatched seemingly as an NFL head coach. This offense will have to reinvent itself. The tight end might be one of those beneficiaries here, depending on how they rework their offense. Another second-year tight end. We know rookie tight ends don't usually have a big impact. We like McBride, but you know what? I also like Jelani Woods in Indy. They've got to be better next year, and Woods definitely could be a big part of this offense.
Yes, you would hope that they are much better. You would hope that they're going to do whatever they can to upgrade that quarterback position. There's talk about them trying to move up to that number one pick. You know, Woods showed flashes last year. Definitely another guy I think could take a leap. His path doesn't seem quite as clear to me as McBride's because you still have Michael Pittman there. You still have Paris Campbell. Alec Pierce, may be ready to take a leap. Just by getting a quarterback upgrade and some stability in this offense should help Jelani Woods. And really, who's he competing against here? Mo Alley Cox. I don't even know the other tight end there. I mean, really, he should be able to become the lead tight end in this offense. We see it every year, right? David Njoku wasn't being drafted last year. Gerald Everett wasn't being drafted last year. Evan Ingram wasn't being drafted last year. We see it every year. These tight ends that we don't expect to do anything, do something. Why not Jelani Woods?
It's tight end. You got to dig, but this is obviously a talented receiver who plays tight end. That's what they drafted him for. He flashed at the combine. Did start to, believe it or not, kind of come on late in the season. I know the stats don't necessarily back it up. If you play fantasy, you say, where was he? What was he doing? Out of 2 of the last 3 games of the season, he became the starter. That is significant. A rookie tight end. They already had Mo Alley Cox. They had, I think it's Granson. Those guys not done anything to warrant sticking around and being the starter. Woods flashed. Remember that 2 touchdown game he had earlier in the season when everybody dumped their fab and then, of course, he disappeared. The team will be better. He will be better. The situation will be better. He should be the number 1 tight end there. And if nothing else, there's touchdown upside. And that's all you can hope for when you're looking for a sleeper at tight end. Now let's talk about a veteran tight end, but one who maybe will finally get a chance to break out if he finds greener pastures. I'm talking about Mike Gesicki. Didn't exactly fit into the McDaniel offense. A good chance he's somewhere else next year. Maybe he actually becomes a tight end 1.
Remember, this was a tight end 1 for a while there in fantasy. Was a guy you could count on most weeks. And then last year, got slapped with the franchise tag. And then they made him a blocking tight end. And that is not what he does. He's not a blocker. He's a route runner. He's a pass catcher. That's what's so great about him in fantasy. You got to think he's for sure not going to be in Miami next year. They don't really have any need for him. He doesn't have any need for them. He's going to be going to a team that likely needs a tight end and will throw to the tight end. And he's going to be completely forgotten in fantasy because he did almost nothing last year. I mean, there was weeks where he literally did nothing. Because if he lands somewhere great in fantasy, people will remember him again and they will start drafting him again. So now is the time to get him while he's cheap.
You nailed it. That's exactly right. People will just completely forget he exists because he did nothing last year. Wherever he lands, it's got to be an upgrade for him. People forget before Kyle Pitts came along and as this athletic freak at the tight end position, Mike Gesicki had put together one of the best workout combine performances ever for a tight end. The speed, the size, the reach, everything. And he was this elite prospect. And he's shown flashes, but it hasn't quite all come together. And of course, Miami's offense just hasn't really been good until this year. And it just so happens when they were good this year, it's because they had two elite wideouts and the tight end didn't matter. Gesicki still has what it takes to be a big threat at the tight end position. He just needs the right situation. Let's see if it happens. But even so, don't sleep on him carving out a role somewhere. Now that you know which tight ends we are looking at late in drafts, what about the guys who are climbing steadily up the draft board? These are some tight ends that are skyrocketing that you definitely need to pay attention to.